So I'm just gonna make a poll because I am gonna do a reading after this, but I'm trying to figure out, you know, what peeps want to see next. So I'm just gonna do, okay, what reading? Okay. I'm just making this poll right now. My bad. Okay, let's see. Oh, damn. Okay, let's see. Okay. Just making a poll. Peeps. Okay, there we go. What reading do you want to see next? Cancer. Okay, check out the poll. Oh my god, fix this real quick. Okay. Real gloomy day today. Sadly. Gloomy day, but it's a good day. It is a good day. So I come out here. I've got some different spots I go to because I can't smoke in my apartment. So I got some different spots I go to where there's not a lot of peeps. One of the spots is that bridge that I go to, but another one is this. Hope everybody is doing good today. Got some coffee here. Got some coffee. I was gonna show you the coffee, but I don't want to give away any deets. Feel free to do the poll in the chat, drop a like, or just loiter and mingle like most of you always do. You know, whatever. LOL. Hey loiters, how's it going? How's the loitering going? Makes me feel special that peeps want to loiter in my life. Okay, people. I'm sorry. I'll get sear with you. I'll get more sear with you. At least it's getting warmer. Hey, thanks for the like. Thanks, normal human. Woo! We've got one normal human in the house. Yes, that's great. Oh my gosh, great to see ya. Great to see ya. But I don't want to be normal, so, you know, I get it if you don't want to like this, and I'm just kidding anyway. I'm just talking all sorts of shit because it's kind of like my fave hobby. One of my fave hobbies. Oh my gosh, woo! We have 2 normal peeps in the house. And I don't mean normal like boring, okay, by the way. That's not what I'm talking about here. You guys, I'm just totally talking shit either way. I'm just talking shit either way, okay? You gotta entertain yourself. You've got to learn how to entertain yourself. I do this all day, every day, and I have a freaking blast. I have a blast with myself. I don't get why peeps want friends. Friends cramp my style. Friends kind of cramp my style. I'm kind of like friends with everybody I come across, so, you know. Think Jesus vibes, okay? Well, I'm not joking about that. Literally not joking. Because that's how Jesus was. He was friends with everybody, but he was a healer, you know, and so people were assholes to him, but he would just be like, I'm just gonna heal you. I wonder if Jesus ever cut into a bitch. Come on, he had to. He was human. It's like, why don't they share those stories in the Bible? One day, Jesus got fed up. And cut into a bitch. Unfortunately, not everybody was as open to Jesus's healings as some people. So, Jeez had to learn some boundaries. But anyway, you know, small talk. Small talk. Okay, let's think about something more serious to talk about. Universe, whatever you need me to communicate or get across to these peeps today. Oh, 3 votes, you guys. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Okay, so 67% wants to see a Cancer reading. So that's 2 peeps. I'm not good at math, but I'm just guessing because there's only 3 votes, you know? Just in case you were thinking, wow, she's like so good at math. Collective 3 sides to every story, 33%. Okay, so 1 person said collective 3 sides to every story. That's a classic, you guys. I haven't done that in a while. Have not done that in a while. You know, just had to handle some sickos, and now that I've handled certain sickos, I can go back. Yeah. I think the thing people forget is that healers are humans too, you know, and that's part of the example. And And, part of modeling that to other people is not to model a perfected self, but it's to model the most authentic self, the most authentic self. Now, I'm not talking about if I were to get on here and smoke some crack, or, you know what I'm saying? There's limits to it, obviously, okay? But yeah, no. If that were happening, I would say run. If I was getting on here smoking crack saying, yeah, guys, everybody's human, I'd be like, oof, man, she needs some help. She needs some milk. Just kidding. You guys, I've smoked so much that now my laugh has become this like weird thing. I know I can't describe it, but it's great. That's why I just laugh as much as I can. It's just great. So I think that's the thing, is that's what I model, is learning to love yourself regardless of the imperfections. You don't have to be perfect to be lovable, to be beautiful, to be valuable. And you also don't have to be rich. You don't have to have shit. It all happens within. It's all about what's going on inside of yourself. That's why I don't care about money, and people will wonder, or I don't know if people wonder, I don't really give a fuck, but I don't care about money, and that's partially why, because I value happiness, and I measure success based on how happy I am, not how much money I have, or how powerful my job is, quote unquote. No. And there's also different definitions of that, there's a lot of different powerful job positions that don't pay a whole lot, teachers, the good ones at least, social workers, mental health therapists, stuff like that. Because that's the thing that I realized, because I went into macro social work, so really I was more interested in like systems and policy, sort of. And I realized when I got into doing the job that I have now, because I wasn't planning on being a mental health therapist, but it just kind of, I didn't choose it, it chose me type of vibes. But seriously, because like I just was looking at jobs and I was like, yeah, that actually just feels like it feels right. That feels right, it just felt right to me. I'm like, yeah, this actually seems like it would be a good fit. Like, I'm good one-on-one with people. Like, it would be a good fit because I want to help people that actually want help, so I kind of looked at that, like what I was looking for in a job. But basically, I realized in my job that by helping one person, and this is the macro part of it, which I didn't even think about before, is that like when you help one person, you help a whole shit ton of people. Because if you have a client and they have family members, and the family members have friends, you know what I mean? So you're helping people in that way inadvertently, because by helping heal one person's perspective, one person's mind, that shifts an entire dynamic. So it will shift the entire family dynamic if that person takes that stand and sets boundaries and, does the healing that they need to do. And then it kind of forces the other people to look at themselves, or it just forces the dynamic to shift, so that, I guess, at least, if people don't want to heal, the dynamic is not as strong, not as powerful anymore. Because one person has stepped out of it. If you're interested in learning more about that, like what I'm talking about, and boundary setting and things like that, the book The Dance of Anger comes to mind. I never read that all the way through, but that's what they talk about in that book, is like setting boundaries, and like how by you taking a stand in a different direction in certain dynamics and relationships that you're in, it shifts the entire dynamic as a whole. And basically what happens is that either the person is going to rise up to meet you where you're at, you know what I mean? Or they're not, and they're just going to fall out of your life, and that's healthy. Because I mean, if somebody is not willing to change or grow, it's not healthy, for one, and says a lot about them. But a lot of people want to live in denial. They want to stay unconscious. And also, a lot of people are just so damaged, their egos are so damaged, that they're not able to take in these things, because before they're able to even take those things in, their ego jumps in and defends against it. That's why, like, narcissistic people, for example, have a harder time changing, because anytime you tell them anything about themselves, they get triggered, their ego gets inflated, and the defense mechanisms come in, and that's how they prevent from ever having to do anything about it. And also, I don't know if it's that they really, I know people say they lack the ability to self-reflect, but I'm not sure it's that. I think it's the defense mechanisms. I think they just don't perceive it in the same way. You know what I mean? I think it's more so they just don't perceive their part in it, or they don't perceive that their part in it is wrong. They have a false perception of self, which I was talking about yesterday, which is why you see actually a lot of narcissistic people being quite successful, because they think they're a lot greater than they actually are. So, that subconsciously drives your behavior. And yeah, it can make you an entitled, arrogant prick, but it can also make you successful because you lack the empathy to give a shit who you're impacting in a negative way by doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's why people who have higher levels of empathy might struggle a little bit more in that regard, because, for example, I don't care about competition. I don't care about winning. I don't give a fuck. So that's just like, you're never going to find me in that type of a position unless it's in some roundabout way, like YouTube or something. It's like, but that also has to do with values as well, because I value humanity, I value other people. So I'm not the type of person that, oh, it's me against you. No, I'm taking everybody with me. That's how I am. I'm like, no, how can I help other people to get there while I get there? But so yeah, that's what I've kind of realized about my job, and it's made me like my job a lot more, because I was like, wanting to do something that was more changing things on a systematic level or a bigger level. But it's like, technically, I mean, I am changing things on a systematic level within families, within communities. So might not be on the level of government or whatever, but I don't want to be in that realm of things anyway, because I think that's a I don't know. I'm not sure, like, that's how you change the system. I mean, maybe. I think it gets shifted due to, like, I guess radical shifts or whatever, but I don't know. I just was not interested in going the policy route or, you know, anything like that. But yeah, I'm trying to see. Nobody said anything. Feel free to do the poll in the chat if you haven't already. I appreciate the peeps who did it, because come on, people. I just want to bring you what you want. For Christ, I mean, I don't want to say, I don't want to disrespect anybody's beliefs on here. I don't know. Everybody believes in different things, you know. But yeah. So yeah, I'll probably do a cancer reading next, because that's what I was gonna do anyway. But after this, I'm gonna go for a run. I'm getting back into that. It's been a while. I used to like to run a lot, and got stress fractures in my legs, and then I couldn't run. But it's been a long time. It's been a while since then, so I think I'll be good to go. But you know, a lot changes in 10 years, that's for sure. People change, those who have the capacity and the desire to, you know, and I am one of those people. I've changed significantly in certain ways. My confidence, courage. I'm proud of myself. A lot of people wouldn't have kept going. A lot of people wouldn't have, you know, my mentor told me that. He said it is an incredible accomplishment where you've gotten, because a lot of people in your shoes would have chosen a different route. They wouldn't have chosen to get an education. They would have, you know, I could have folded, you know, under pressure, and I didn't, ever. And I can definitely thank my dad for that. Because my dad definitely instilled strength and good, really strong, hard work ethic in me. And I will say I don't respect him as a whole, but I do respect that aspect. Because yeah, that's really what all the little things, you know, that he would tell me to encourage me, like don't strive for perfection, strive for excellence. He would always say, every day's a good day, but some days are better than others. Like, just shit like that, where it was just like, you know, helping me to always kind of look for the good or the more positive aspects of things, and not in a toxic positivity type of way, but it really is true that's why it's so important for parents to say positive things to you, or just to be around people that are saying positive things to you. You know, not that people can't give you constructive criticism, nothing wrong with that, but people who are encouraging you and saying things to build you up, because that stuff really does get into your subconscious, and then it influences how you feel about yourself, how you operate, literally. You know, what moves you make in life or don't make in life. So, you know, I am grateful for that. And it's important to recognize the gray areas, just in general, in life and in people, because unless somebody's like a murderer or like, you know, like a psycho, everybody has good and bad in them. But also, that doesn't mean you have to be around them. You know what I mean? That's the thing. I mean, there were positive things that, you know, both of my parents told me. Don't get me wrong. I didn't really fuck with my dad like that for a while, so for my teenage years, that was not really existent, really. But the problem is inconsistent messages. When you give your kids inconsistent messages, that's the issue. Which, unfortunately, a lot of parents do, whether it be intentional or accidental. But I'm basically just speaking about whatever comes up, just kind of letting it flow. You know, I like smoking on that bridge, but it's like there's too many cars coming by, and it just feels so risky, you know? It's like I can't really fully relax. And you know, what's crazy is they want to put a freaking weed shop on every corner, but then they want to ban you from smoking it in any apartment, which most people live in apartments or like rented, you know. And so to me it's kind of backwards and crazy, because it's like, well, what do you guys expect us to do? Because one way or the other we're going to be breaking the law. Question mark. So you can't smoke it in your apartment because that's illegal, but you can't smoke it in your car if your car is on, I guess. But I think you can, like, for example, if I sat in the back seat, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clear my back seat out. Okay, this is my plan. Okay, this is my spring cleaning plan, you guys. Okay, this is my spring cleaning plan. I'm going to clean out my whole car, and I'm gonna clean out the back seat and everything like that, and make it real comfy in here. So it's like a hangout spot, you know, maybe get some pillows for the back seats, you know, really just make this place a lot nicer and more comfy. But I think I'm gonna do that, and then I'm just gonna smoke in the back, because then it's like they literally cannot do anything. Like, what are you gonna do? I'll just be like, I live in my car. Show them my ID, and it's like, well, what's this address? Oh, yeah, I don't know. Not sure. Anyway, great coffee and chat, peeps. Everybody's so chit-chatty today. My only issue is I feel like this coffee gets cold so fucking fast. You know, I'm drinking this drinking this coffee here, and it just... Oh, I was gonna say, is it the first Saturday in the month? I think so, peeps. People, you can't go back. You can only go forward. So stop looking back. You know, I watched this movie on Netflix, and it actually was pretty good, even though it was like unrealistic. But it was this movie about the tsunami, and it's called La Palma. If you want to check it out, it's actually a pretty good movie. Or I think it's like, or it's maybe multiple episodes. I don't know. Anyway, there was this one scene where like this guy and this girl were trying to get away from the tsunami. They were trying to get to this safe spot on the island where the waves wouldn't be able to reach it, I guess, which again is super unrealistic because it's like tsunami waves are fucking massive, and there is absolute, like, they will destroy everything in their path. So it was unrealistic in that aspect, in that it's like they definitely all would have been dead. But but this one part of the movie, when him and this chick were trying to get away from the tsunami wave and they were going to the safe spot, they got in this little boat that they had. It was this small little motor boat thing, which, oh my God. The scene basically showed them going to this safe spot, and the wave hadn't yet hit. It was like building up, and they could like see it out at sea, you know, and it was like getting closer and closer, and they knew how much time they had. They had like 20 minutes or something before the wave hit, and they had to basically either go to the safe spot or they were gonna fucking die. So they were like driving in the boat, and then there was like, the chick was in the back of the boat and the guy was driving it, and the wave was coming, and she kept looking back, and the guy was like, stop. He was like, don't fucking look back, you know, because he was trying to encourage her to just, no, we're gonna make it, focus on the, you know, focus on the future, focus on the fact that we're not gonna die by that wave, basically. And anyway, what I'm basically saying is, it's reminding me, like, what I'm talking about, that you kind of have to, like, no matter how heavy or painful this shit from the past is, you know, kind of like a tsunami wave, it's like, you don't have to let that shit destroy you, though. So, like, that's all I'm saying with that, is like, don't waste your energy looking back. You can't do anything about it. The only thing you can do is make amends or forgive yourself, but you can't change the past, and the only thing you can do is make peace with it or torture yourself for the rest of your life. But I don't do that. I don't live in the past. It makes no sense anyway, because I'm not who I was. It wouldn't even make sense to talk about something I did a year ago or 2 years ago, because I'm not that person anymore. So, just like in that movie with that tsunami wave where he, you know, she kept looking back, he was like, and he was, you know, it was a good movie. Go check it out, La Palma on Netflix. And he kept telling her, don't fucking look back, and she didn't. You know, she kept turning to the front, and they made it. They survived, even though, like, in real life they would have been dead. But still, like, I get why he was doing that, because it's like, that's not gonna help you. It's not gonna help you to look back at the massive wave that's about to fucking kill both of us. all we can do is try to push forward and try to live. And if not, we'll get there when we get there. But so yeah, just all you can do is focus on the present and plan for the future, and like learn, learn from what you've experienced. Don't hold it against yourself, and don't hold it against other people. That's a waste of energy too. Consider the source, or take time to understand why what happened. Look at context. You know what I mean? Look at the other person's perspective, not just your own. Because whatever happened, the person probably knows why they did what they did. And I guess if they don't, or they're not even aware of what they did, then not much you can do about that, because that person's asleep. And I've just learned to let sleeping bears lie. These people who are so sick that they can't even look at themselves. They're not stable, centered, healthy energy to be around. It's risky. So you just let people who want to be stuck in their ways be stuck in their ways, okay? Especially if you've tried to teach people things, or you've tried to communicate something to someone, and if they're just completely irrational and doing nothing but straight up defense mechanisms like deflecting, projecting, unless the person is self-aware enough where you could point it out, you know what I mean? If you know the person and they're kind of self-aware, and you think they might be receptive to it, you can definitely be like, hey, do you notice that like you're kind of like projecting, or because we all have defense mechanisms that we utilize every now and again. It's not that nobody ever should use them, because humans, they just kind of do that naturally. Not all the time or whatever, but no one's perfect. That's all I'm saying. I want to travel somewhere, peeps. And I'm not sure where to go. Where should I go? I'm not thinking like a foreign country or something, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking, I guess. Oh, yeah. Maybe Chicago. It's a great spot to go. I don't know, but I'm bored as heck. Which is why I'm going to start running again, because it's like, when your nervous system is, what's it called? Hyperactive, basically. You can tend to be more prone to boredom, if you have PTSD and things like that. So things like exercise and moving your body can be very good for releasing that and helping you deal with some of that quote-unquote boredom. It's really, for me, it's a restlessness, and it's like you just got to channel that energy into healthy things, which I have been doing lately, and it's been great. Guys, like therapy, support groups, definitely try things like that. There's online support groups. I go to an online support group and it's great. They have online support groups for like dysfunctional, like people who have who come from dysfunctional family homes or whatever, or childhood homes. So it's good to be with, like, in a group of people that understand the concept of boundaries, and that it's okay to cut people off that are abusing you, verbally, emotionally, whatever. No matter how subtle, no matter how big or small, doesn't matter. And that's what the support group basically, that's a lot of it, is just teaching people to advocate for themselves and recognize that you don't have to put up with shit you don't want to put up with. And a lot of dysfunctional families have thought processes that you just have to go along to get along, and you've got to go to all these events and you've got to do this stuff, or you're like, shit, I don't know, disloyal or something like that. That's not healthy. It's cultish, it's weird, and it's fucking dysfunctional as fuck. Families that, oh, you've got to come home for Christmas and you're in your 30s. It's like, fuck off already. Please. So, you just gotta tell peeps like it is, and stand your ground. And that's what people in this support group talk about, is that type of shit, and I heard a woman talking the other night about her dad, and I'm like, it sounds like you're describing my dad. And she was just like, yeah, she was talking about holidays and stuff like that, and not going home for those, and like realizing she doesn't have to be around anybody that she doesn't want to be around. And dysfunctional families make you feel like you are obligated to them, or they'll guilt you or put pressure on you to help them, or to, I don't know, whatever. And it's like, no. So it's about respect. You've just got to let people know where you stand, and if they are healthy, they will respect that, and if not, well, they probably won't. And if they don't, that's when you set another boundary. My bad. Oh my god. And it might seem scary, but really, I'm telling you, once you confront these people, or confront whoever it is that's bringing drama or whatever, you know what I'm talking about? Like, once you confront them, it's like they're really much smaller than they portray themselves to be. These abusive people or bullies or whatever portray themselves to be oh my god, big and bad, until you confront their ass, directly, and then you really see how weak they are and how quick they fold in the face of truth and integrity and courage and true confidence. Boy, I'm telling you, I've tried it multiple times. And peeps just basically they just show their true colors. Oh my god. I hope it starts warming up a lot more, because it has been warming up, but still today it's kind of like iffy. Tired of the cloudiness too. But I do like clouds. I love clouds. But like not these kinds as much. Duff's a cloud glazer. Wait, gazer? I'm a cloud gazer. LOL, people. Yeah, so great times. So affirmations are important, people. Say nice things to yourself and about yourself. Okay, I'm gonna say some affirmations. Today is a beautiful day. Today is gonna be a great day. I am beautiful today and always. These are the types of affirmations, people, I'm telling you. Look in the mirror as you're saying them. And even if you don't mean them at the time, they still get stored into your subconscious, and over time, you do believe them and see them. So I'm telling you. I am empowered. I am powerful. Those are good ones. I am unique. Unreplicable. Replicable. Is that a word? Nobody can replicate what I do. That's what I'm saying. Nobody can replicate what I do. And that's the same for anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, nobody can replicate what someone else does, because they'll never be you. You know? I think I got a pack of sticks, didn't I? What the freak? I literally just got a whole new pack, I swear. That's crazy. This is not good, people. I wonder if I put it in here. Please, Jesus. What in the actual fuck? Oh no, you know what? I feel like I probably dropped them. I feel like I dropped them. I was wondering why that guy was trying to talk to me. I got the hell out of there. I must have dropped them. But, damn. Crazy. That is so ridiculous. Well, that's okay. There's a speedway right up the way, folks. Anyway, so we're all good. Even though I'm kind of annoyed that I did not want to. You just have to understand, I've had so many negative encounters with people. That's why I got the fuck out of there, because I was like, I don't know why this guy's talking to me, but I'm out of here. That's why I ran. You know, I just ran. It is what it is. I'm over it. I'm done with it. I do not give a shit. Okay? I mean, I do. But, you know, just affirmations. Yeah. Okay, people. I was gonna do a reading, but I'm gonna do that in a little bit. I think I'm gonna do that in a little bit here because I was gonna go do some stuff real quick, you know, walk, run. Okay, I'll be back, people. Oh, I gotta see that. Check out the poll.